Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Namaskar and a very good evening to everyone present. I, Pratap Kumar Patra, Registrar General, on behalf of the High Court of Orissa, extend a heartiest welcome to all our honorable guests, judicial officers, officers of the registry, members of the bar, members of print and electronic media, and all the dignitaries present today at the inaugural ceremony of e-libraries for 24 bars in 24 different outlying stations of the state of Odisha. On this August occasion, it is indeed our proud privilege that we have amongst us my Lord Hon'ble Mr. Justice K.M. Joseph, Judge, Supreme Court of India, to inaugurate the e-libraries for 24 bars. We are indeed fortunate to have my Lord amongst us on this resplendent occasion. We are also privileged to have amongst us Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, Chief Justice, High Court of Orissa, along with companion judges of the High Court of Orissa. May I now seek the permission from our chief guest, my Lord Honorable Mr. Justice K.M. Joseph, Judge Supreme Court of India, to kindly declare the event as open. Sir.
Yes, you're supposed to do this, sir. Wait.
Your Lordship, may now I seek the permission from our to kindly declare the event as open.
Yes.
Thank you, my Lord. Now, may I request my Lord Honorable Mr. Justice S.K. Sahu, Judge, High Court of Orissa, and Chairman, High Court Library Committee, to kindly present the welcome address. My Lord, please.
Vande Utkal Janani. Good afternoon, Honorable Justice K.M. Joseph, the Supreme Court of India, Chief Guest of this function, my Chief Justice, Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, my esteemed brothers of the Library Committee, Justice K.R. Mahapatra, Justice M.S. Sahu, Justice V. Narsingh, and Justice S.K. Mishra, my esteemed brother judges present here and also on virtual mode, Learning Registrar General and members of registry, learning district judges, judicial officers, and members of the bar, here members of print and electronic media, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome all of you to the inaugural ceremony of e-libraries in 24 outlying stations of different districts. Library is the temple of learning. A library is like an island in the middle of a vast sea of ignorance. It has liberated more people than all the wars in history. Libraries are reservoirs of strength, grace, and wit, reminders of order, calm, and continuity, lakes of mental energy, neither warm nor cold, light nor dark. A good library has always played a vital role in making of a good and successful lawyer, and of course, a good judge. There was a time when we are purchasing journals and books, and whatever space was available with us, after a few years, that was becoming too small. For keeping those books in good condition, one used to give constant attention to prevent deterioration. The moment the e-library concept came, most of the problems got automatically solved. The purpose of an e-library is to store, access, and manage magazines, articles, books, so that it can be made available to a large number of users on a consistent basis with minimized physical material preservation. Last year, on 22nd March, my Chief Justice Dr. S. Muralidhar inaugurated e-libraries in all the 30 district headquarters stations and 2 outlying stations at Koraput and Rourkela. Apart from computers, we provided internet connectivity, online services of AIR, Manupatra, CD-ROM of OLT to the bar. The lawyers practicing in the district courts and 2 outlying stations got immensely benefited by using the facility. Since we got a very good response, a decision was taken by the library committee of the districts where at least 100 lawyers are practicing. Today, we are going to inaugurate 24 e-libraries, that is in Balangir district 1, that is at Titlagar, in Balasore district 3, that is at Soro, Nilgiri and Jaleswar, in Bargarh district 1, that is at Padampur, in Cuttack district 3, that is at Atagarh, Banki and Salehpur, in Dhenkanal district 1, that is at Kamakhya, in Ganjam district 2, that is at Bhanjanagar and Aska, in Jagatsinghpur district 1, that is at Ujjain, in Kendrapada district 1, that is at Patamundi, in Keonjhar district 1, that is at Anandapur, in Khordha district 2, that is at Khordha Road and Banpur, in Mayurbhanj district 3, that is at Rairanpur, Karanjia and Udala, in Navaranpur district 1, that is at Umarpur, in Nayagarh district 1, that is at Ranpur, in Rayagada district 1, that is at Gunpur, in Sundargarh district 1, that is at Rajganpur, and in Kalahandi district 1, that is at Bharamgarh. We hope that the learned bar members of these outlying stations will regularly use this facility, enrich their legal knowledge, prepare and present cases in a better manner, and assist the judicial officers and litigant public in the adjudication of the cases. We hope them to give their valuable suggestions to the library committee through the learned district judges. In coming days, we are likely to provide such facilities in more and more outlying stations. Once again, I welcome all of you to this function. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, my lord, for the warm and heartfelt welcome extended to our honorable guests. Now, may I request Dr. Justice S. Muralidhar, Chief Justice, High Court of Orissa, to address the honorable guests and dignitaries present. My lord.
Pranam, a very warm good evening to everyone present. We are indeed very, very fortunate that taking time off his very busy schedule, Justice K.M. Joseph, Judge, Supreme Court of India, has agreed to be with us to inaugurate the 24 e-libraries in the outlying stations of Odisha. Justice Joseph comes from an illustrious lineage. All of us are aware that Justice Joseph's father, Justice K.K. Matthew, was the tallest figures in the early years of the Supreme Court of India, and one who could be truly remembered as a jurist judge. Justice Matthew's opinion in the Keshavananda case has to be read by every law student and every lawyer to understand the evolution of constitutional jurisprudence in this country. Justice Joseph himself has contributed richly to the evolution of jurisprudence, particularly in the areas of constitutional law, of liberty, of freedom of speech in the Supreme Court of India during his tenure there. And we continue to be enriched by his very learned opinions on the bench in the Supreme Court of India. Justice Joseph, we are indeed very grateful to you that you're present on this very, very important occasion for the bar in Orissa. I'm very happy that my colleagues have contributed all their efforts into carrying the mission of the Odisha judiciary forward, which is reaching justice to the people of Orissa in various remote corners of Orissa, and at the same time, striving to improve the level of the bar. In the past year, we started a scheme identifying promising lawyers and identifying one such lawyer in every district. We also made sure that lawyers have access to e-libraries. And in doing so, we focused on the younger members of the bar, and we were hoping that the digital divide should not deprive lawyers of access, online access to journals and the ability to research wherever they are. So we not only provided the e-library facility in the form of a cabin, which you will see in the short video, but we've also subscribed to 2 journals. We've paid for the subscription for 2 journals for a year, and we propose to extend it by 1 more year, apart from giving a 3rd journal by way of a CD-ROM. And now with the Supreme Court of India making available e-SCR, we are providing that link as well in all these e-libraries. So each one of the lawyers, and there are 5,407 such lawyers in these 24 outlying stations who will be benefited by this e-library, their world will get opened up, even if they don't have the means to possess law journals, subscribe to books. Their world will be opened up to a whole dimension of their law practice by being able to research, prepare better for their cases by reading these journals. We want to have a younger, stronger, and more independent bar, a more learned bar in Odisha. And it serves a second purpose from the point of view of the judiciary. The bar is the nursery for young judges who may join the Odisha judiciary at 2 levels, at the level of the Odisha Judicial Service and at the level of the Odisha Superior Judicial Service. We want more and more lawyers to participate in the exams that we conduct on a yearly basis, to qualify in these exams, to join the judiciary and strengthen our hands. So the effort is to strengthen both the bar and the bench in the judiciary. We've also provided SEC online facilities to all our judicial officers. So we're making sure that if ever there were to be another occasion like the COVID-19 pandemic, that would not stop the work of the courts, and importantly, not stop the work of the lawyers, and that lawyers everywhere in Odisha would be able to have the same facilities as the lawyers practicing in the High Court in Orissa. This is one of the key aims for the Odisha High Court, which is celebrating its 75th year of functioning. The Odisha High Court has been strengthened constantly by the participation, very active, positive participation of the bar, both in the High Court and in the district courts. They've all joined us in large numbers. So apart from the district judges and the judicial officers in as many as 16 districts, Justice Joseph can actually see on his screen the lawyers in all these districts, and we're talking of literally 5,500 lawyers participating on this one occasion, which is all possible because of the technology that we have. And we are now, therefore, converting what was a challenge during the COVID-19 pandemic into a wonderful opportunity of growth of the bar in Odisha. I'm eagerly waiting to hear Justice Joseph, what ideas and thoughts he may have to share with us on this occasion. I thank each one of those, including my colleagues, the colleagues of the present Library Committee and the earlier Library Committee headed by Justice Arindam Sinha, who've made it all possible for us to move forward in the right direction and to help Odisha, the legal system in Odisha, the judicial system in Odisha grow. And I thank my registry and all the technicians and technical staff in the districts who've coordinated this event so wonderfully. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity and event, and thank you, Justice Joseph, again for joining us.
Thank you, sir, for the warm and heartfelt address to our honorable guests and the words of encouragement along with your constant guidance. To take matters ahead, it is my utmost honor to humbly request His Lordship, my Lord, Honorable Mr. Justice K.M. Joseph, Judge, Supreme Court of India, to inaugurate the e-libraries for 24 bars in 24 different outlying stations in Odisha. My Lord, please. Thank you, my lord. I would now seek permission from the chair to screen a short presentation on the e-libraries. My lord, please. Satya.
Welcome to the virtual presentation of e-libraries. Using the e-library, the advocates will be able to access ESCR, AIR Online, Manupatra First, and a CD-ROM version of Odisha Law Times. E-libraries, one of the many initiatives undertaken by the High Court of Orissa to strengthen the justice delivery system. The High Court of Orissa has been taking many steps for development of infrastructure, better working condition and information communication technology. All these steps have culminated in a robust system for justice delivery. In the previous years, when the whole world was reeling under the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, the High Court of Orissa did not allow itself to slow down and marched ahead with its endeavor to dispense justice. In its quest to reach out to the people who are in need of getting justice, High Court of Orissa has been tirelessly working to improve the facilities for all the stakeholders. One of such steps is the establishment of e-libraries for the advocates practicing in districts as well as outlying stations. E-libraries enable the lawyers to have access to various information and book readily available to them digitally. It helps in easy information retrieval. The user can easily search the desired information by using any search term. The e-library for the lawyers is more beneficial to the young lawyers as they are relatively new to the profession and might not be having sufficient resources to subscribe to many journals and books. The digital contents can be updated without having to purchase any additional physical book. It has advantage over traditional libraries in terms of space. Digital libraries can hold much data in very little physical space. Use of digital libraries is also cost effective as compared to physical libraries. Last year, on 23rd March, the High Court of Orissa inaugurated 30 e-libraries for the bar of all the district headquarters stations and 2 for the outlying stations at Koraput and Rourkela. A separate cabin with 2 workstations was set up inside the bar halls and 2 computer systems with internet connectivity was provided. Provisions for online services of AIR and Manupatra and the CD-ROM version of Orissa Law Times was made. The bar members have been immensely benefited from the facility. Like last year, the High Court of Orissa is opening e-libraries for the bar of the outlying stations of the districts where there are at least 100 advocates practicing. The purpose for providing the e-libraries is to arm the advocates with all the possible means to do their legal research and represent their clients in the best manner before the courts.
Thank you, Satya. With immense pleasure and deep gratitude, I would now request my Lord, Honorable Mr. Justice K.M. Joseph, Judge, Supreme Court of India, to present the keynote address. My Lord, please.
Dear Justice Muralidhar, I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My esteemed sister and brother judges of the High Court of Orissa, dear brother and sisters of the District Judiciary, members and office bearers of the participating Bar Association, and my dear friends. It gives me immense pleasure to be in your midst on this joyous occasion when at the initiative of the High Court, libraries are being made operational for 36 Bar Associations in the state of Odisha. We have witnessed the short video presentation on the e-library. Science and technology have never been more relevant and impactful in the affairs of men than it is today. We should consider ourselves blessed that we are recipients of the fruits of knowledge which can be harnessed for the advancement of goals which the courts of law are tasked to accomplish. We all understand the basic purpose of the establishment of the e-libraries. They will put in place what is contemplated, namely cubicles and computer systems with internet connectivity, accompanied by subscriptions to Manupatra, Web Edition, Orissa Law Times, CD-ROM version, and the AR online manual. The criteria selection, I believe, for selecting the outlying stations is that there must be at least 100 practicing advocates. A huge amount of little more than rupees 37 lakhs of public money is being invested in this project. It is therefore natural to ask ourselves a question as to what is the true purpose and object of this huge investment and this program itself. There are several concepts which are intricately intertwined, which I believe lie at the heart of the project. To begin with, the Constitution of India, as interpreted by the Supreme Court, contemplates giving rule of law such primacy that it is treated as a part of the basic structure of the Constitution. Now, what does rule of law truly mean? Rule of law is founded on the firm principle that men are governed by pre-announced norms, which will guide them and by which they will abide by. Being enforceable, courts are established to administer justice. The efficacy of the courts will finally determine how any state conforms to or fails to abide by the Constitution and the rule of law. In other words, the courts, in particular district courts, which provide the most frequent and direct interface for the ordinary litigant, play the most vital role. Here, I would like to marry the concept of learning and knowledge in the legal profession with a third aspect of access to justice. A system which merely provides for the Constitution and the laws without making them functional and in working condition is of little use to the common man. Access to justice is a part of Article 21 of the Constitution. Denial of access to justice is an infraction of Article 14. It is a bounden duty of all courts to facilitate an effective and robust administration of justice. Justice, if I may say, must be in accordance with law. No doubt this has many dimensions. And finally, it will go to the concept of jurisdiction and the boundaries of the court's power in a given situation. What is, however, important is that to achieve the noble goal of securing access to justice, through which alone ultimately rule of law can genuinely prevail in the country, the imperative need for a well-informed bar inevitably arises. It is all very well to undergo a 5-year course in law and to be licensed to practice the profession of law. Members of the bar must pause and consider whether they are in a position to fulfill the implied promise which they hold out to the prospective client that they are well equipped to discharge their obligations. But the fact that a client does not drag a lawyer to the court or to the bar council for gross professional negligence should not be the fragile foundation by which he can retire for the day after he has failed to render professional service that he is called upon to discharge. The legal profession is both a noble and a learned profession. Though they are two distinct concepts, they are not strange bedfellows from one another. This means that the nobility of the profession demands of a lawyer that he will observe the rules of professional ethics, which necessarily involves his duty to render the best possible service to the litigant. It is here that learning becomes a matter of pivotal importance. And as Passia told you, observe that it is a matter of the greatest privilege to be a lawyer, provided the true role, which consists of a number of duties expected of a lawyer, being constantly borne in mind. I personally believe that the legal profession is the greatest profession if only the impact of the acts of a lawyer is taken into consideration. The lawyers must always bear in mind that be it advice, pleading, or arguing in a court, it can make or mar the lives of his countrymen. The legal profession cannot be looked upon as a mere source of earning livelihood. It is a rendering of a unique service for which the lawyer as a professional holds out to the whole world that he has the necessary equipment. What is the equipment of a lawyer? The true resource of a lawyer is his knowledge of law. Can a lawyer say that as he has obtained a degree in law, he has come by knowledge for a lifetime of practice? Law consists of positive law, made up of statutes, rules, and other forms of subordinate legislation. It may be found in executive orders. The law is, however, finally, according to the realist school, what the courts say the law is. Therefore, the knowledge of law would consist of understanding of the positive law, but equally, if not more importantly, the interpretation of the law placed by the courts. Now, this is a dynamic concept. In this sense, law is constantly evolving. Judgments are being rendered by courts, and they are, in fact, reported in various journals. A lawyer practicing in the district court must be familiar with the decisions of the highest court, which contain law as declared in Article 141 of the Constitution. The lawyer must equally access all the judgments of the high courts of the state in which he is practicing. Kindly consider a situation where a client approaches you for an advice. The lawyer looks up a statute. The statute has been interpreted by the Supreme Court in a case whereby a right has been called out. The lawyer, unaware of the interpretation, turns away a client. Please consider the grave miscarriage of justice which will be perpetuated at your hands by mere reason of your ignorance. A lawyer cannot afford to be ignorant of the law. A lawyer must be, in fact, a perpetual student of law. It was Plato who warned that, and I quote, "The learning and knowledge that we have is at the most, but little compared with that of which we are ignorant. Please, therefore, do not, as it were, on the acquisition of a degree in law. It is but a humble beginning of an arduous but never-ending quest for knowledge." This, in fact, lies at the core of the legal profession. It is this dimension which marks the lawyer as a true professional. The people of the country have a right to expect that their lives and property are safe in your hands, and that their liberty will be protected by a professional in whom there is a perfect fusion of knowledge and passion for the cause of justice. At the heart of all this lies the need for constantly updating one's knowledge of the decisions of the courts, besides the relevant statutes. I opine that the legal profession is a unique profession. I also said that a lawyer must remain an eternal student. Again, I quote Plato as he said, "Knowledge which is acquired under compulsion obtains no hold on the mind," unquote. The legal profession is the most exciting profession precisely for the reason that as a lifetime student of law, without being compelled by anyone, if a lawyer seeks after knowledge as a passion, such information tends to remain part of his memory, for the reason that the human brain has a tendency to remember what a person genuinely desires to retain. The unending quest for information naturally leads to the accumulation of a wealth of knowledge. It is a slow process and it may at first blush appear to be painful. But then law is a jealous mistress. The highest interest which must guide every lawyer is to be the interest of not merely the litigant whose cause he may be currently espousing, but also he must equip himself to be ready to render service to any litigant who may knock at his doors. I miss my days as a counsel in court. There is nothing comparable to the incessant wrestling between legal minds that take place in the court between the lawyers, each seemingly quibbling over what may appear to be a highly nuanced but subtle aspect of law. The outwitting of your opponent, armed with the weapon of knowledge, not only brings a greater sense of satisfaction to you personally, but perhaps even more importantly, you fulfill your role in assisting the court in arriving at a correct and just decision. The lawyer being fully aware not merely of a few head notes, mark my words, I am repeating it, the lawyer being fully aware not merely of a few head notes of the decision, but familiar with the full facts of a reported judgment and its actual operation in terms of the principle of law the court has laid down, goes a long way to the fulfillment of the supreme role that a true lawyer plays in the administration of justice. Today, knowledge is available much more easily than was the case when access to legal information was through physical books. It is no more necessary for you to pull out a book from a crowded library and search for a precedent. Technology has brought about a revolution of sorts. Judgments of the courts are available at your fingertips. You have absolutely no justification whatsoever to defend your ignorance of the law contained in the law reports. I will also make use of this opportunity to apply this statement to the judicial officers who are listening. They have been provided, I believe, with the latest laptops full of information relating to the law contained in the law reports. The time has now come for both members of the bar and the judicial officers to fully apply the judgments as are applicable in the disposal of the cases. This is the least that can be expected from both the members of the bar and the judicial officers. The quest for learning is deeply associated with the virtue of humility. True humility lies in acknowledging the fact that one is at the end of the day still largely ignorant. It was again Plato who very pertinently declared, and I quote, "I am the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, and that is that I know nothing." The first step, unquote, the first step towards attaining wisdom lies in constantly reminding oneself that as a lawyer or as a judge, that the understanding of a situation may be the product of pure ignorance or an imperfect perception. It is only through hard work and perseverance in the pursuit of knowledge, and that too without slipping into complacency, that a lawyer would fulfill his true role and acquire self-realization. Please do not confuse your goal to be one of monetary gain. If you abide by the rules of the game, I believe no lawyer will fail to succeed. I would request all of you practicing in the courts where these facilities are being made available to consider having lively discussions after each one of you have read the decisions. Not only would it provide an invaluable opportunity for you to showcase your knowledge and understanding of a decision, but it would also lead to the unraveling of the dimensions of the decision which you may have overlooked. Still further, such discussions will trigger the pursuit of an intellectual debate over fine points of law and lead you to continually explore the frontiers of law in related regions, an exercise which will finally enhance your personal skills and further your career, and at the same time add value to the assistance that you render to the court. I have no hesitation in telling you that as a legal profession, I consider each one of you to possess the greatest potential to flower into luminaries and towering ones at that, who will bring glory to your state and to the nation. To make it possible, however, you need to begin today, as the High Court of Orissa, under the able and dynamic leadership of Chief Justice Muralidhar and his distinguished colleagues, have laid the foundations for the full realization of your potential. It was the poet Thomas Gray who penned these immortal words: full many a gem of purest ray serene, the dark unfathomed caves of the ocean bare, full many a flower is born to blush unseen and waste its sweetness on the desert air. Your talents, even if you are practicing in a remote outlying port, should not be a flower born to blush unseen and waste its sweetness on the desert air. Practicing as you do in the district courts, you hold the key to your own career in your hands. In fact, the quality of the bar, as reflected largely by the passion for reading, is absolutely essential for making appointments also to the district judiciary. More importantly, you have a duty to render the fullest assistance to the court, without which the judges who stand undoubtedly burdened with an unprecedented docket explosion, and who may, despite the best efforts, may not be in a position to render legally correct and otherwise just judgments. You must also bear in mind that the lawyer practicing at the district courts, as also the judicial officers, play a vital role in the reduction of arrears. This is due to the fact that by and large, if correct and just judgments are rendered by the courts in the districts, the arrear at the level of the High Court and even at the level of the highest court would be reduced. The litigant has also a right to the service of lawyers and judges who keep themselves abreast, or at least at the bare minimum, the law reports. In fact, I would urge you to read unselfishly. This is, in fact, an advice given to me, I may say so, by Sri S. Narayanapoti, a former advocate general when I was practicing in the state of Kerala. So I asked him, what is it? He said that if you're reading for a particular case, you will confine yourself unnecessarily. You must be constantly reading, a search, unrelenting search, and a client will come. And when what you have read without having any client in mind will become useful to you. It will then mark you out and you appear cut above the rest. This is the way you score a march over your opponents. Perfectly Gandhian and peaceful way of progressing in the career. In fact, it must not even be confined to law. The reading must not even be confined to law. Since you must have vision and you may move to the High Court or even to the Supreme Court, read on every topic under the sun. In particular, read literature, be it in any language. Now here I may expand and say, you see, the real weapon of a lawyer is language, finally. the statutes and laws are ultimately, when you come to the High Court, at least it gets to be argued, interpreted, and therefore your understanding of the English language, please don't discount it. Please give the highest importance to it. In particular, read the good classic works, poetry. See, the poetry is like mathematics. How you decode a poem, even a single obtruse sentence as it may seem. At the end of the day, it makes your day in terms of how you have understood the real vision of the poet. It's like a mathematical formula you unravel it. In the same way, when you actually are dealing with a statute, how you construe a statute, you need to have actually wherewithal in the knowledge of the language, whichever language it is that you are practicing it. And English happens to be the language. And particularly as Chief Justice in Uttarakhand, I have found that one of the problems I may share with you is that the judicial officers, when they are elevated to the high courts, they do have a problem if they have not been writing in the English language. And then we get complaints from the bar that they are finding it difficult and they are not authoring their judgments in English. So please keep yours abreast, even if you're writing in your local language, a certain percentage of your judgments, as you may perhaps be asked to do in terms of the orders. But also alongside, keep in mind that for your own good, that your knowledge of the English language is of the greatest importance. Let us not, say and criticize the British and then stop learning the language. Finally, at the end of the day, you will really need the language. That's all that I have to say. All of this is like a dream coming true, made possible by the efforts of the High Court, of which I am fortunate to be a part of. I wish each one of you the very best and Jai Hind.
Thank you, my lord, for such kind and inspiring words. Now we proceed to the end of the program. May I now request my lord Honorable Mr. Justice K.R. Mahapatra, Judge, High Court of Orissa, and member, High Court Library Committee, to kindly present the vote of thanks. My lord.
Namaskar and a very good evening. We have added a figure to our achievement by opening 24 e-libraries for the advocates at 24 outlying stations of districts. In fact, it enriches and strengthens the judiciary. When an advocate is enriched and he argues the matter before the court, the reflection of his wisdom is reflected in the judgment of the court. So, it is indeed a great achievement for us to open 24 e-libraries with the hands of none other than Honorable Mr. Justice K.M. Joseph, Judge Supreme Court of India. In spite of his hectic schedule and hectic day, he has spared his valuable time with us and inaugurated the e-library. It adds importance that the e-libraries are opened, inaugurated by Honorable Judge Joseph, as we are celebrating the 75th year of the Odisha High Court. We are indeed indebted to your Lordship for inaugurating the e-libraries. Your Lordship's insightful and erudite speech has encouraged us in achieving our initiatives, in furthering our initiatives. It is your Lordship's speech is a research work on the role of the advocates in the judiciary. I extend my heartfelt thanks to His Lordship on behalf of the High Court of Orissa and District Judiciary. Honorable Justice Dr. S. Muralidhar, the Chief Justice of High Court of Odisha, has indeed a inspiration for us. From the day of his joining, he has engineered ideas and and made it possible, which we could not have even dreamed of. His initiatives have also been appreciated by Honorable Supreme Court. In many things, Odisha High Court is number one because of his Lordship's leadership. His Lordship's informative and erudite speech has certainly added colors to the occasion. We, on behalf of the High Court Bar Association, High Court, Odisha High Court and Library Committee, we extend a heartfelt thanks to His Lordship. With the leadership of Mr. Justice Sangam Kumar Sahu, we could make possible the dream of our Chief Justice by opening these 24 e-libraries in outlying stations. His guidance has indeed helped us in achieving the goal in a goal. I on behalf of the committee extend my heartfelt thanks to him. I also thank my committee members, Mr. Justice Mrugan Sekhar Sahu, Mr. Justice V. Narsingh, and Mr. Justice Sanjay Kumar Mishra for their help in making it possible. I appreciate the cooperation and encouragement of my sister and brother judges who are present, whose presence is itself is an encouragement for us, and it shows that they have full support and full cooperation for any initiative taken by the committee. I also thank the Mr. Pratap Kumar Patra, the Registrar General of Odisha High Court, and the members of the registry for their tireless efforts to make it possible make this program successful time. I also congratulate the district judges and other judicial officers of the outlying stations, more particularly the 24 outlying stations, for having e-libraries for the lawyers practicing there. I request them to encourage the young bar members, more particularly the young bar members, to use the library and make the best of it, so that the opening of the e-libraries, the purpose of opening of the e-libraries at outlying stations can be achieved. I also congratulate the advocates, the president, secretary, and office bearers of the 24 outlying stations, as well as the bar members, for having e-libraries with them. I request them to make best use of it and utilize the facility given to them. I also request them to follow the suggestions, advices, and the insightful thoughts of Honorable Justice Joseph in its letter at spirit. I request all of you to hear the speech of Mr. Justice Joseph again and again, so that it will have impact on you to utilize the library and make the litigants available the access to justice. I also thank Mr. Soumya Patra, the coordinator High Court Mediation Committee, High Court Mediation Committee, who is also the coordinator of this e-library, who has worked tirelessly to see that the project comes out in time. I also congratulate and thank Mr. Satya, the CPC and its staff for providing logistics and technical support to make this program successful. I also thank the print and electronic media for their support to reach our bases in every nook and corner of the state. I thank all of you who have participated physically and online in this program. Thank you all.
Thank you, my lord. May I now request the Honorable Chair to declare the inaugural program closed?
Yeah, declare the
Thank you. Thank you, my lord. The inaugural program is declared closed.
Thank you so much, Justice Joseph.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.